Folks at home, how you doing? Welcome back to Bass University Live from ICAST 2017. I'm excited to be joined by two of not only the most amazing professional anglers in the world, but two of the really the nicest guys in the world. Seth, Feider, Davey Hite. Guys, thank you for joining us.
You bet.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're here. This is a really neat deal. We're getting to show people ICAST that would normally never get to see it. Seth, I want to start with you. Dude, you're a kid. You're young. What are you, like 18 or 19?
I'm actually 32.
Oh, 32.
32.
Okay, you're 32. But tell me a little bit about the first time you heard of ICAST. You were far removed from it, right?
Yeah.
You heard about this show.
Yeah.
What are your first memories of hearing about ICAST?
It was something that I've always loved bass fishing, and I was into all the newest and latest baits. But it was never. I was just a little local fisherman, never got invited to this kind of stuff. And, this was the week that all the brand new, cool stuff for the next year was coming out. And, it's really cool being here now, getting to seeing it firsthand. And before, you kind of had to wait. You'd see little glimpses of this and that, Sometimes it'd be, weeks or months after ICAST by the time you actually got to see some of the stuff. So it's cool coming here and getting to play with everything right when it comes out.
Very cool show. Davey, tell everybody, remember back to your first ICAST. Your very first one. Give me a story from your very first ICAST.
Well, similar to what Seth said, the first few times you come here, it's just like Christmas.
It is.
It really is, because we all love fishing and we all want to see the next thing. We want to be ahead of everyone else, getting a bait that nobody's using yet, the fish haven't seen.
Yeah.
So those first couple years, honestly, I felt like a kid. And driving down here, I felt a little bit of that. But as you well know, now a lot of our contract negotiations, a lot of work we do with our sponsors take place right here, so we don't get to look at the baits as much as we once did.
Big time.
But I still, because you have to set a schedule, I still set a few hours apart so I can just peek around and see what companies are coming out with neat stuff. So it's awesome to come down here.
It's exciting. It's an exciting time, and I'm happy here to be giving you guys and girls a glimpse into ICAST and some of this new product. And, of course, we're going to show you some stuff right now that is going to be game-changing for this coming year. The great folks at Rapple and VMC always launch some really cool stuff. And, Seth, I want to start with you down there. What do you got? Show us one of these cool new products this year.
Really excited about this. This is a brand-new weedless Neko. I'll pull it out of the package so you can see it good. This is the same Neko hook I was using at Mille Lacs. The landing percentage on this hook's second to none compared to a finesse hook because of that long shank. You're not skin hooking fish anymore. Everyone's right through the roof of the mouth. But now we got it in a weedless version, so all those same great finesse techniques, wacky rigging, Neko rigging, even drop shot, and I can use this hook around docks, brush, anything like that, and it's amazingly weedless. These are, I think it's 50-pound fluorocarbon.
50-pound fluoro on the
50-pound fluorocarbon, so it's invisible to the fish under the water, but it's stiff enough where you can bring those wacky rigs or Neko rigs right through the brush pile, but still have that almost exposed kind of hook hooking percentage. You know what I mean? It's not getting in the way. It's not like a big weed guard on a jig where you got to hit them really hard. You can still just ease into them really nice, but it's enough there where you can kind of feather it through the brush and not get hung up. But
that thing comes through brush a lot better. When you look at those 50-pound fluoro weed guard there, you think, nah, it really comes through stuff a lot better than you would think.
I was really surprised when we got these how weedless they actually were.
Yeah.
But you hit the nail on the head. You can still use it on spinning rods. You don't have to, have some real heavy setup because you can just ease that hook into them. It's perfect.
No, that's beautiful.
I love the fluorocarbon guard, and as everybody watch, a lot of you know, fluorocarbon's invisible in the water, so that guard just disappears. The fish don't even know it's there, even in clear water. Seth, expand a little bit on Neko rigging, because it's a technique that's really trending right now. There's a lot of anglers watching this right now. They're like, I've heard of Neko rigging, but I'm not. Is it wacky rigging? Is it shaky? Like, they're not sure exactly what it is.
And
it's a little explanation.
It's almost a combination between the two, a shaky head and a wacky rig. In my eyes, wacky rig's just a fish catching bait, plain and simple. But it's always been fairly shallow technique, 5-10 feet or less. That's where you wacky rig. With a Neko rig, you're taking a worm or a Senko style bait and adding a VMC nail weight into the head of it, and then rigging the worm kind of wacky, but instead of horizontal to the worm. You're running it in line.
In line with the bait.
In line.
Yeah.
So it kind of fishes like a shaky head, but you still have kind of that wacky worm action where, when you pull on a shaky head, you're just pulling the head of the bait, so your worm's always staying straight. But with an eco rig, you're pulling on the middle of the bait, so you get that cool pulsing that just triggers really finicky fish. And it's really come on strong the last few years, and I'm surprised more people haven't picked up on it. I mean, it's been around for. I've been doing it for 3-4 years probably now, but there's still guys out there that don't. I don't get it.
It's amazing.
It is a fish catching tactic.
I got to tell you real quick and break and tell you, Davey, you've been to Japan before?
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. And I got to go there last fall, and we fished Biwa for 2 days at the very end of my trip. And I swear to God, there are, on an average day, it looks like Gunnersville times 10.
It does.
Really?
There's a sea of boats out there as far as you can see. And dude, I looked out there at one point, and like every one of them was Neko rigging. It was the most amazing. Like, it's the hottest trend in Japan.
Yeah.
Like, everybody, I'm looking at all the boats, and they've all got spinning rods, like, and you know that it's a Neko rig, So it's amazing. It's powerful, and you're right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't caught on as much yet here in the States.
I think having that bait with that weed guard is going to help people, because a lot of people shy away from that exposed hook fishing around cover. You get hung a lot. You don't want to lose those baits, but that weed guard on that VMC Neko is the deal, and I think a lot of guys feel more comfortable throwing it around cover.
Yep. Let me remind everybody watching, you're watching BU Live from ICAST 2017. We want to hear from you. If you've got a question or a comment for one of these guys, chime in. We do have a question.
We do.
Dave, hits. What do you got?
Question for Seth. When scanning offshore for smallies, are you looking specifically for the fish, or are you looking for structure?
Both. Mostly fish. If I'm running structure actually. If I'm running side scan, I'm looking for grass patches, boulders, any kind of isolated stuff they're going to sit on. If I'm actually looking for fish, I use a 2D and down scan more for that. They just don't show up real well for me on side scan. But, you can find some pieces of structure you don't even need to see a fish on. No, they're smallmouth's going to live there. If you find a giant rock, the size of this table right here in the middle of nowhere, it might as well be a fish. There will be a smallmouth there.
There's not one there then. There will be one there soon.
It's not possible that there's not a smallmouth somewhere around that boulder.
Yeah, they love that kind of stuff. But
And what's the main difference in fishing for southern smallmouth over northern smallmouth?
I know that one. The accent. It's the accent. The northern smallmouth have more that, New York draw. You know what I mean? And the southern smallmouth have a little bit of that southern draw. So, no, honestly.
My very limited experience with southern smallmouth, I'd say Cherokee Lake is probably the only time I've really fished for them south. In the southern part of the United States. And they're definitely different. They're built a lot different, a little leaner, a little longer. But, at the end of the day, they've still got that smallmouth attitude.
Yeah. I'd like to hear from you, Dave, because you won with smallmouths.
Southern smallmouth.
Yes, on southern smallmouths on Pickwick Lake.
Yeah, I had some smallmouth in my bags those days, but I won at St. Clair with the northern smallmouth. I agree, the accent's a little different, and they like spice a little more. They eat crawfish, but they like spicy crawfish or not so spicy. But they're same. I agree with Seth, man. They love rocks. We all know that. And speaking of side scanning, the new electronics, I know y'all have seen that this year. It's unbelievable.
Mind-blowing.
Now, instead of just looking for, like the question was, do you look for fish or rock? You can see it all.
It's mind-blowing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Changed our sport.
Totally changed it. Great questions. Hit us up on the IM if you've got more coming through. Seth, I got one more question for you, and then I want to talk to Davey about this crankbait. Question for you is when Neko versus wacky versus shaky head? I know a lot of people are probably watching and they're confused about when to throw which technique.
Okay. Honestly, the Neko has almost replaced the shaky head for me. I use a shaky head very little anymore.
Wow.
And it's almost a depth thing, really.
Yeah.
If I'm fishing 5 foot or less, I typically throw a wacky rig. And, if I'm fishing 5 foot or deeper, I'm typically fishing a Neko rig now. But it's a really good bed bait.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's many times where I've sat and messed with the fish with everything else. And it's like finally I just pick up the Neko rig and like first cast, like why didn't I do that 45 minutes ago, you know? So I should probably do that more. But yeah, it's basically a depth thing for me, really.
So I want to throw that back to you because you've won a lot of money with a shaky head back in the days. Do you throw this more now?
I've been throwing it more now. And I honestly, David, I think here's what it is. Because it's funny you say that because my Uncle Don, who I used to travel with, he kind of busted my balls the other day. He's like, man, you used to be a lot better when you were throwing that shaky head. Like, I don't throw it anymore. You know what I mean? He's like, look, you picked it back up in the Classic, and, you know, you did. And I'm like, I don't think it's – you know what I think it is? I think so many people – like, you remember, shaky head's been around forever. They called it jig worming up north.
Yep.
You know, we had a lot of guys down south throwing it for years. But then in that 90s to early 2000s, everybody started doing it. They see Kevin catching 10-pounder on Louisville with it and tournaments being won with it. I honestly think it's just like a crankbait. They see a certain action. They see so many shaky heads now. I think a lot of these techniques are new. You know, the Neko rig's a new action to the fish. And I think that's why it's become more popular.
I agree 100%. And back in the day, you saw a lot of guys – I can talk about back in the day a lot. I'm telling my age a little bit. Through a Carolina rig. And it disappeared for about 15, 20 years. And then last year.
Coming back.
Absolutely.
Coming back around.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Once again, you're watching ICAST 2017 live here from Bash University booth right here in Conservation Hall. If you're still here at ICAST, come by. We'll wave at you or make fun of you. I want to switch it now. We'll go from little terminal tackle. And, Davey, I want you to talk about – I'm excited about this. When you talk about new hard baits, I've been a collector of hard baits for so long, and I think we've got something here that's exciting. And Davey, you are a crankbait guy. How many of your wins have come on a hard bait? I know a lot of them. I know Red River crankbait was big.
Totally on a square bill.
Yes.
Totally on a square bill. I love hard baits, in particular the square bill.
Yeah.
And there again, for many, many years, I've collected balsa, handmade, homemade square bills. And the whole problem with most people dealing with balsa in their garage or wherever is it can be inconsistent.
Right.
So you buy 10 and one will be a good one.
Right.
But you know when you see it in the water, when you feel that certain vibration, that's a good one.
Right.
Well, the coolest thing ever is Rapala, the best company ever with balsa, has come out with a durable square bill.
That's unbelievable.
It's a BX Brat.
Yep.
Balsa bait, but it's got this BX outer shell.
Yep.
Awesome colors, and when you know the great thing about Rapala, whether it's a shad wrap or a shadow wrap shad or whatever, when you pull out a pack, it's going to run right. It's going to be consistent.
Right.
The biggest problem with square bill baits in my whole career has been inconsistency.
Yep.
This bait, you'll have the same bait. When you buy one, you buy the next one, the next one.
You don't have to buy a dozen to find one.
Really nice.
And you help design with this bait.
Yes.
You know it's got the right action. It's got the right feel.
Yep. Very cool. And you know, expand on what Davey said. And it's so frustrating because I'm a big fan, like you, of old crankbaits. Like I love it. I got a barn full of Bagleys, old ones.
Yep.
And along with the inconsistency, the problem I always had is you get into a tournament, and of course the place you got to throw is the place that gets the crap kicked out of that crankbait.
Yep.
And balsa's soft, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That thing to me is great because it's going to be like the 4x4 of balsa baits. You can throw it, not worry about breaking the bill out of it or smashing the balsa on the side, you know. So
you get a good balsa bait. The old ones, like you're saying, the balsa starts showing on the side. It starts absorbing water, and it's not good anymore.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's smoked. It's smoked. Seth,
and you don't have to cry when you break that one off because you know you can go buy a new one.
Yeah,
just
you
go
get
get
one
another
them old baits. You got that one you really like, and like if you hang it up, like you're gonna get naked and go down there and get it.
Right.
So, like
you don't have to strip down nude anymore.
Go get a new one.
Right.
And it's gonna run the same.
Have you ever done a nude
I was
calendar?
Ask, have you ever done a nude
nude calendar? Randy Blockett did a nude piece back in the day. Have you ever done a nude calendar? Seth?
I haven't.
You haven't?
No.
Have it?
Not total nude.
Not yet.
I just
mean,
feel
just
like
in my underwear.
I just feel like you got potential to be a great nude male model for
With that
swimming.
mustache?
The mustache makes it.
Yeah.
Mustache makes. All right, let's switch this. Davey, you're the crankbait king. But Seth, up north, there's a lot of guys. For some reason, you get above like kind of that New Jersey, New York line. You start getting way up there, Square bill doesn't seem as big. Is it catching on in that part of the country? Do you guys still square bill? Or is it something that's just good for...
Well, a lot of our lakes aren't set up right for it. You know, we got so much grass in there that, you know, that good square bill range, that 2 to 4 feet, there's not a lot of open water. You know, it's all choked in, reeds, pads, milfoil, stuff like that. Now, when we go to the river, like Mississippi River, that's where, I mean, square bill is the deal there. Yeah, little rock banks, riprap, stuff like that. It's really popular there. But, you know, a lot of our natural lakes up there, they just don't set up, you know, like perfect square bill stuff. But, yeah, definitely on, like, the river systems and, you know, the lakes that have the right stuff, it's definitely a popular technique.
That's awesome. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there watching that are square bill addicts, and they're probably wanting to know, tell them a little bit, Davey, sizes on this and what are the diving depths on the
This is the 3-foot bait. It's called a 3, and it runs a little deeper than that.
Yeah.
A cool thing about any square bill, this one included, you can adjust. I'll use heavy mono if I don't want that bait to run as deep.
More lift.
I'll use lighter, maybe even a 12 or 14-pound fluorocarbon, get that bait deeper. So you can really adjust. Even though this bait typically runs about 3 feet, you can get it down to 5 with the right setup, or you can even hold it up a little shallower. Like, say, if that grass is shallow, I want to use like 20-pound mono, and it probably will only run about 2 feet.
Right. Now, here's another one, and let me remind everybody, the IM board is open. Please send Dave, a.k.a. Tom, a message if you've got a question for Davey or Seth. The other one I want to bring up is the right rod reel. Talk a little bit about that, because I know guys that are consistently throwing square bills on composite soft rods, crankbait style rods. I know other guys that say, when I'm square billing, I want a power rod. I want a rod more like a spinner bait or a buzz bait rod that's graphite. Tell everybody a little bit about your rod choice and reel choice and even gear ratio.
Me personally, with rod, it depends on the cover I'm fishing with the square bill. And the line, I just talked about the line a little bit. If I'm using mono, then I'm going to use a graphite rod that's quicker. If I'm using fluorocarbon, I use that composite rod because I want to slow it down some. So it depends on the line, but typically I want to use a medium to medium heavy action composite rod. If I'm in grass, I want it to pop out a little more, then I'm going to use fluorocarbon and that faster rod, and it'll pop away from that grass better.
Right. It's interesting. Seth, comments on rod for you?
I've tried the glass thing. I can't do it. I like a really moderate. I don't know. I can't feel nothing. I like graphite, but I'll use a real moderate action where it absorbs that shock, lets the bait get it a little bit. But I can't do glass. I can't.
Gotcha. Gear ratio for you, Seth?
I'm kind of getting more and more into faster stuff. Yeah. Like probably 7.3 for that. I know a lot of guys always 6.3 cranking, but a lot of times when they eat it and push it at you, I can get on them quicker with it. It's easier for me to just slow the reel handle down than it is to try to catch up and burn with a 6.3. So almost everything I've been doing, I've been getting to higher and higher gear ratios and just slowing myself down rather than reeling at the same pace and switching gear ratios.
Pretty interesting. Dave, did you have a couple through the IM, or you're good? Okay. Seth, I'm going to switch to you. This is the turning point of the season for the elites now, and we've got a handful of left that are smallmouth events. Yeah. Talk a little bit about how you're salivating to get to these events. I can see the saliva coming from the corner.
I've been on the mustache.
I've been drooling since the schedule came out to get to this point. Yeah. And, really didn't think I'd be doing as well as I am at this point in the year. Thought I was, going to have to make my comeback in these few events, but been pretty fortunate so far this year. But yeah, I've been waiting since the end of the year last year for this little northern swing. I love going up to New York. Out of everywhere we go, it's going to be the closest to fishing like home, with the exception of Minnesota. Northern New York and Minnesota, it's pretty much the same deal. I feel super comfortable there. I don't have to second guess myself. Am I doing this wrong? Should I be doing that? It's just I get out there and autopilot, and it's I've been waiting a long time for it. Got through all the hurdles down south, and now it's time to throw the hammer down and
it's cool. Well,
try to do something.
I'm excited. When we get to where we're fishing for the brown ones, it makes you excited.
They're so fun. They're so fun. I want to quickly ask you: have you been to these lakes that we're going to? Have you been to?
Yeah.
You've been to all of them?
Well, my first year on the elites, we went to the St. Lawrence. Okay. I fished an open and an elite on St. Clair, and then I fished an open on Champlain. So
I'm just trying to think about my fantasy picks.
Yeah,
I've been to all before, but
I'd have Seth on all of them, man. Whenever they're smallmouth. talk about real quick. A lot of our viewers, we had a lot of IMs yesterday come through with the elite guys we had up here asking about the high water conditions at Thousand Islands. Let's start to you, Seth. How do you think that's going to affect what we have there and what we find?
It's going to change, the spots, but I think the same kind of stuff's going to happen,
Yeah.
But that hump that was, topped out in 10 feet of water might not, be the spot anymore, but that hump that used to be topped out in 5 feet of water now is in 8, maybe that's the spot.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change. Maybe the largemouth stuff will switch up a lot.
Yeah.
But the smallie, they're just current-related fish. I mean, it's a river system. Every time the water goes up and down a little bit, the spots just kind of change. But I think they're going to be relating to the same kind of stuff.
Yeah. Last time we were there, if you guys remember watching, the black hair jig made a big appearance the last time we were there.
Yeah.
Were you pissed off? Were you just mad at JM for showing all that? Because that was a little northern secret you guys had for a lot of years.
But I wasn't too worried about it. Yeah, I mean, it's like Brett Hite with a chatterbait,
Right.
Everyone has a chatterbait in their boat. Everyone, you know what I mean? But he's still gonna.
Right.
He's not worried if I have a chatterbait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
he's gonna do his deal.
Yeah. He's gonna do his deal.
Yeah, it's a confidence bait for me. I'm gonna catch him on it.
Right. Good deal. I had a note come through, and this is very professional. This is how we use our notes here at Bash University. Want to remind all our people watching and listening right now, we release the Seth Feider Monster Smallies and River seminar, and we release it next Thursday. So if you're a subscriber, keep your eye out for that. Seth's going to be giving away all his secrets for catching giant smallmouth. Now, I'm not talking about the 12-inchers that make me excited, but I'm talking about big ones. Real big ones. That comes out next Thursday. If you're not a subscriber, check it out. We've got a promo going on right now. That's BUTV30. If you enter that code in the website, you'll get a 30-day free trial. And what that means, you get to see this class for free. Absolutely for free. And you're going to be hooked for life. So that's really good.
And he's really giving away the secrets because, just like you said, he's not worried about it. He's still not going to be able to catch it.
And that's for everyone too. We always talk smallmouth for northern Great Lakes kind of stuff, but I mean, a lot of places in the country where they fish smallmouth takes place in little streams and rivers, southern parts of the country, and that applies to everything there. So it's a little more broader. You don't have to live in Canada or Minnesota to want to watch that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
smallmouth anywhere. Yeah,
there's a lot of little rivers and stuff scattered all about the country that got smallmouths in them. So
even if you live on Lake Ojibwe in South Dakota. Is that what it's?
Is that how you pronounce it?
Is that what it's called?
Oahe.
Oahe. That's what it is.
Yeah.
These techniques will work. But before we run here, Dave, I got to throw it to you one more time, and talk a little bit about it. They'd kill me if I didn't ask you this. This is more of an Ike Live question, but I got to ask you. How's the new gig? Are you enjoying yourself? Yeah. Are you missing competing? I want to know this because I've
been watching you. You keep dropping a little hint.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm not there, but I need to know this too.
I've really enjoyed it. I was nervous about it. I'll be totally honest with you. I had been in my comfort zone fishing for 24 years.
Yeah.
And when you do the same thing, no matter what it is, for 24 years, and you go into something different, I was nervous about it.
Yeah.
But there were several things that really played into my doing that. Number one is working with Dave Mercer, Mark Zona, and Tommy Sanders.
What a bunch, right?
I mean, they are so good. It'd be hard for me to mess things up.
Really good. Yeah.
But the other thing, and gosh, I got all the respect in the world for guys that are still fishing the trail in their 60s.
Yeah.
I never wanted to do that.
No.
I just, and to each their own. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Absolutely.
But I just didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And for the last couple of years, I was like, I need to have a plan before I get 60. I need to have a plan, and then you start thinking, so what do I transition into? Because I love to fish.
Yeah.
I love being around tournaments. I love being around you guys.
Yep.
And I always want to do that, and there's just not a lot of opportunity. And I'm thinking, so what am I going to do? I'm not an electrician. I'm not a carpenter. I'm a fisherman.
Yeah.
So ideally, maybe another year or two later, this opportunity come along, it would have been perfect. But the last person they hired was Mark Zona like 13 years ago, so the door doesn't open very often.
Right.
So I just decided to do it. I really like it. I really do. And just like the Waddington event, I'll be up there with my boat. I can't fish, but I'm going to be out there on the water. I'm going to feel like I'm a part of the sport that I love.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
That's awesome. Well, I tell you, you're doing an amazing job. I heard so many people have commented. They love what you're doing. To have an analyst that that has been there and done that.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Thank
so
you.
you're doing a great job.
Thank you. The cool thing about that, been there, done that, I've had terrible tournaments,
Yeah.
So, like you say, on both ends,
Yep.
I've been there, done that, and I feel the pain. I feel the, when Jordan Lee, a young guy, wins a classic, I'm pumped for him. I was pumped to see you catch that giant one.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's awesome. Let me thank everybody for watching. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we've got the guys from Mullix that are here. They're going to be showing us some cutting-edge stuff. Hang in there with us. When we come back, more BU Live from ICAST 2017. Seth Feider, Davey Hite, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks.